Am I the a-hole for not apologizing to my parents for putting them through hell and making them feel guilty for divorcing? 10 years ago, my parents sat me, 17F, and my brother, 19M, down and told us they were getting a divorce. My brother was angry, and after calling them hypocrites and yelling for a minute, he withdrew. The hypocrite thing came because they could be very forceful when it came to building and keeping relationships, and more than once they forced my brother to have playdates or attend the birthday parties of this kid who was mean to him and others. It used to annoy him, and he was miserable spending time with this kid. Our parents would say he had nobody, and my brother being nice would make him nice back. But it didn't. Our parents would insist you don't just give up on people/relationships. Even thought my brother and this kid didn't have one outside the pushing. But my brother found their stance hypocritical when they were divorcing. He's still withdrawn from them today. For me, the news made me break down, and I cried and begged them not to get divorced. The stuff I heard about divorce from my friends sounded awful to me, and I'd heard my friends cry over having to choose which parent they did something with, or not having one family, and instead having two, and then never having one house thing. Most of my friends didn't like things being that way. I hated the idea of that happening to us, and I became pretty distraught. In the aftermath, I struggled to adjust to two houses. I got upset when my parents had other partners and missed being all together. When I asked, I was told divorced families don't do that, and I needed to get okay with two separate things for everything. I never settled into the splitting my time between two houses. I still hated it, and a few months ago I ended it by asking my grandparents if I could live with them, and they said yes. My parents didn't like it, but my relationship with both became really strained after they told me they were divorcing. I never felt supported by either, and they built up a lot of resentment toward me. That resentment started coming out once I moved out. My dad has two stepkids and my mom has three. They both compared me to the stepkids who don't have a problem with two households, or who don't ask to invite their other parent for stuff. My mom told me none of her husband's kids cried when they were told about their parents' divorce. Dad said his stepkids were happy about the divorce of their parents, that they were tired of an unhappy home. There are times they'll bring up, separate from each other, how I made them feel bad for wanting to be happy, and how I made a difficult thing more difficult when I got so hysterical. My mom accused me of making my brother's anger worse by being so upset, which made him fight them for me. She said I was a manipulative child who used tears to get her own way and wasn't really upset, but just wanted to force them to stay together. My dad told me I was exhausting and so much hard work when he knew kids who had zero reaction to their parents' divorce. Then my mom asked me if I saw the divorce as a good thing, and I said no. She got so mad at me that my grandparents, who were her parents, made her leave. Then a week later, I got calls from both my mom and my dad within days of each other saying I owed them an apology for putting them through hell when I was 7 and making them feel guilty for divorcing. My brother never got any of this. We talked about it, and he was just really angry at our parents for their behavior toward me and for blaming me when they did nothing to help. Am I the a-hole?